Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, brought to you by the great folks over at Zephyr Epic. You can use promo code Hockey Season, capital H, capital S, all one word, Hockey Season. That will get you $5 off your order at Zephyr Epic. That is ZEPHYR epic.com if you choose to shop online. And if you do, you can enjoy free shipping Canada-wide on any order over $50. They also have a retail location in Surrey. Be sure to go check them out on social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, whatever it is. Zephyr Epic has got you covered for all of your trading card needs. And hey, those new Upper Deck series coming out. Series 1 is coming out soon for the 2023-24 NHL season. So we're going to have some packs there. And you've got a pack. Working remotely today, David Quadrelli along with Chris Faber. For Canucks Conversation. We're going to be joined by Wyatt Arndt as well, but I was told I was hosting this show alone today, so I had all this stuff planned, and then last minute, Faber swoops in. How'd your suit fitting go? Was it your suit that you actually got to try on today?
Just the pants for me. Just the pants I had to put together again and get the check on the hemming. Is that what it is? The hem? Like the pant hem? Martin Nietzsche. How do you say this guy's name? Nichas?
Nietzsche's.
I don't know about that. But anyways, a little special card. I don't even know what card.
It's Natchez, isn't it? Why do I not know this?
Anyways, cool looking card, little sideways one there. Suit fitting went good, and it was quicker than I wasn't gonna make it because my brother was supposed to go in at 1:30. He texted me. He said, "I'm outside at 11." I said, "All right, you're supposed to be there at 1." He said, "You think I can get in there early?" I said, "Yeah, we're already in here at 11 o'clock." So was able to make it. I'm excited about that. So that's fun stuff. I wanted to get something out here. You know, when we fall off the rails a little bit on this show, happens often. Normally at the end of the show, do you think it's just us laughing? Like, do you think, I think a lot of people listen to podcasts are probably just like, God, shut up. Like, just like the old stick to sports thing. So I know Aaron laughs. Aaron's on our vibe here with the jokes or however we fall off the rails on the show anyways, but I think a couple people in the chat laugh. There's a certain times where you and I are the only people laughing, though. That has to happen, like often when we fall off the rails here in person.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, look, if we're laughing, someone else out there is laughing, even if it is just Aaron, who I didn't mention. Technical producer is Aaron Bordato. Stanch is already here. We're being told by Aaron that Stanch is just sitting in the background. I just told him to come at 1:15. We'll get to Stanch, but let's start in Abbotsford, Chris, because tonight the Vancouver Canucks welcome the Seattle Kraken to the Abbotsford Center for what we originally thought was going to be a pretty NHL-looking lineup against the Seattle Kraken in the Canucks' 5th of 6 preseason games. So Talkit saying, games 4 through 6, we're going to have an NHL lineup, get the guys ready to go. They did Quinn Hughes in some promotional material. Today, they put something out that had JT Miller on it. Can we get the graphic up, Aaron? The tweet from iMac of the guys who are going to be absent. So Elias Pettersson missed practice on Monday and Tuesday, so we weren't expecting him in this game. Talkit said yesterday that he wasn't going to play in this game, but that was because he had a cold. Now we're seeing Quinn Hughes, Ian Cole, Noah Juleson, JT Miller, Teddy Bluger, Phil DiGiuseppe, Connor Garland, Ilya Mikheyev, and Thatcher Demko will not be making the trip to Abbotsford. And before anybody asks, I am being told that this is not anything. These players aren't sick, is what I'm told. This is not anything to do because everybody's throwing out, oh, maybe they got sick. No, I was told, by a source with the team that these players aren't sick. That's not what's happening here. It seems that it's just like Rick Tocchet wanting to change up the lineup a bit, give these guys a bit of a rest. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe all this by committee talk got Tocchet thinking that, okay, Quinn Hughes is probably going to have to play a lot this season. Let's not make this an 84, 86 game schedule for him instead of 82.
That's the only sickness that's spreading. It's the committee through the Vancouver Canucks. Now the forward lines are getting it, the defense are getting it, but it is good to showcase. I don't think it's the worst thing to take away from NHL players. Obviously, you'd like to see Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes if you're heading out to the game in Abbotsford. But the thing about the good folks out in Abbotsford, they appreciate the Abbotsford Canucks, and they're going to get a handful of them today as well. As we saw the Canucks called up. Check me if I'm wrong here, Quads, because I've been out 5 players, 6 players in total. One of them being Archer Sealaws, right?
Who I think is going to back up Casey DeSmith tonight.
Okay. I want to get the list up here just to double check. I believe Archie Baines was one of them. Talk me through the other ones here. Philip Johansson, Max Sasson, Atu Ratu, Linus Carlson, Baines and Sealaws, who we mentioned already. So pretty much expecting them in the lineup here tonight.
And I tried to throw together a lineup here, like in my little pregame thing that I wrote for Canucks Army. I tried to throw together a little bit of a lineup just to see what it might look like. And look, I was having trouble because basically the Canucks aren't sending their top six. And Aaron, if we could pull it up, the guys that I'm seeing that look like they're going are Anthony Beauvillier and Andrei Kuzmenko. Jack Studnicka was centering that line at practice the last couple of days in Elias Pettersson's absence. But then all of a sudden we're looking at like Dakota Joshua, Pius Suter, and Brock Besser as your second line. And then from there, obviously it's kind of weak throughout. And yeah, like I don't know. I do feel bad for some of the fans in Abbotsford who have been very vocal on Twitter about this, that they said, look, I paid upwards of $60. I think the cheapest ticket I saw on Ticketmaster was like $55. Some people paid over $100 to go see this lineup that doesn't have JT Miller, it doesn't have Elias Pettersson, it doesn't have Quinn Hughes, and it doesn't have Thatcher Demko. I understand if you're upset. Like, think about it this way, Chris. If you're from like Hope or Chilliwack and you don't often go out to these games, right? And you come out and you got your kids with you, whatever, and you say, we're gonna see these guys because the head coach has been saying that, yeah, this is going to be a very close to NHL lineup for these final games, and they make their cuts. Like that was the thing. It wasn't just that these guys were still sitting around and they could go in the lineup and blah, blah, blah. It was the fact that those players got cut and then recalled. I understand why people are upset about it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Like, I'm sure Tocchet has his reasons, and I'm sure there are good reasons. Like we said, you don't want Quinn Hughes to have an 86-game schedule. You could put Pettersson, Miller, all those guys in that same conversation. But I understand. I understand why people are upset. If you bought tickets, and having this advertised as this is your chance to go see Quinn Hughes, all these guys, I understand if people are upset. It's a crappy situation.
Sure. I think, everybody would like to watch Quinn Hughes play in person. So I get where you're coming from. I saw tickets available today, $46.50 hours. You can get
they went down. I looked this morning before the announcement. I was looking. The cheapest one was $51.
Yeah, so you can get in under $50, but still, I mean, you're going to get a lot of NHL players here, but you're right. I mean, you're not getting the top pairing. You're not getting the top six. You are going to be missing quite a few, but I think it's a good little preparation game, and it still feels like it's not necessarily a road game, but it's not necessarily a home game for the Vancouver Canucks anyways. But I'm expecting it to be a pretty solid match here with the Kraken in town as they're kind of closing out their preseason as well. You're going to see some guys. Like I think this one might be. I don't think we've really seen a goalie split aside from the 10-0 game, but I don't think that was scheduled to be a split. But you might see some Sealovs tonight, right? He's going to be a starter out there in Abbotsford this season. You'll probably get a run of Sealovs, not just a Smith. So I think that's one of the things that'll be interesting to watch. How do both those goalies play against the exact same team with the exact same roster in front of them? Sealovs has already been sent down. He's been recalled, I guess, for this game is kind of the way that it seems like it's playing out here. But it'll be nice to watch Sealovs play in front of the home crowd. I know that for sure.
I thought it was a little interesting that Vasily Podkolzin was left out of the call-ups. But
yeah.
I also saw a video today of Abbotsford training camp kicking off in Chilliwack. Podkolzin's on the ice with the Sedins. The Sedins are on the ice out there in Chilliwack. Hey, I get it. Like, I get why the Canucks wouldn't want him in that game. I understand it. So
I do see some people here. They are asking about, or they were answering my question that I asked earlier. Some people do laugh. L. Jim says you're producing an absurd amount of content and it's 99% good. What's the 1%? I'm curious the one. Maybe it is when we fall off the rails.
No, come on. People love that.
No, might be our Betway bets. I've been blowing those pretty hard lately. I got a good one today, though. I got a really good Betway bet today. Those good folks over there.
Have they not been hitting lately?
No, nothing's been hit. Well, I'm doing a lot of futures here, right? I just think I keep just taking that whole segment and completely ramming that train into a brick wall. Like it's been a bad segment the last little bit here. Hey, the other thing that noted today, Cal Foote. Did you see this as well? I think you put it in the outline. Cal Foote, 24-year-old, 6'4" right shot defenseman, son of Adam Foote, on waivers. Huh? I mean, hey, do you feel better about Cal Foote than Cole McWard? Maybe. Like I
probably. But do you want coach's kid dynamics?
Yeah. And he's playing on the top pairing, of course. And man, I didn't run it actually through the dog ratings, but I looked at all the numbers that I had that I would throw into the dog rating. Cal Foote's got some dog in him. Like just from looking at the quick numbers of the dog rating, I have to do the full calculation to figure it out. And I'd have to watch 10 games to get the eye test side of it as well. But just a quick look at it. He's got some dog in him.
I was quickly looking for this. This was from the offseason. Dollywall was on Sekeres and Price, and he said, I checked in to see if the Canucks would have interest and was told this will not be a fit. Having a player with the dad on his staff is an awkward situation. Cal Foot is not going to happen in Vancouver. Hey, I'm just going to say it. When that quote came out, Ethan Bear was healthy.
Oh.
Just saying. Also, Dollywall, we should also mention, had a report on Donnie and Dolly today that 4 or 5 teams are in on Ethan Bear. He's not in any rush to sign a contract. We'll see what that is. I think a lot of us kind of had it as, okay, well, the Canucks are definitely going to sign him at some point. I don't think that changes anything. Dollywall even said he was talking to the agent. So, no surprise that the agent would say, yeah, there's multiple teams interested. No surprise. But just something interesting to note because we just talked about it. And hey, you said no first pair. You're not going to see the top pair out in Abbotsford. Cole McWard's playing, baby. I think Cole McWard's in the lineup tonight, so you're going to see half of the Canucks top pair in a way.
I did find it a little interesting that Philip Johansson was the one to get recalled instead of, maybe Nikita Hirose or one of these other guys that there maybe was like Philip Johansson wasn't really close to making this team, right? I don't think he was projected going into training camp to be one. Definitely didn't show extremely well in training camp to make you think, oh, like maybe this guy should be an NHLer. I thought there maybe would be like a little bit of a different opportunity for one of the other defensemen, but I guess we'll see what happens. Phil Johansson, I think, is going to score a lot of goals in the AHL at least anyway, so that's good. And he's the one defenseman that got called up. But the other guy, like Max Sasson, Archie Baines, I like them getting this opportunity. Like, how much did we talk about on the last couple shows here, or just over the weekend, chit-chatting you and I? Like, it would have been nice to see some of these guys get a little bit more of a run. So a couple of them are like, I don't think it's, I understand by the ticket buying person who's going out to Abbotsford and wanted to see Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson. I get where you're coming from that way, but like, I do want to see Archie Baines in one more preseason game with NHL players. I do want to see Max Sasson. I think he's been great so far. So I got no problem with the group that you're going to see out there. And Atu Ratu, right? Like, he looked good. Linus Karlsson's going to play some NHL games this year probably as well. So I actually have no problem from a hockey perspective, from a ticket buying and experiencing and wanting your kids to see Quinn Hughes. And you brought up the thing, you live out in Hope or you live out there, whatever. It is a little bit unfortunate to not get the most exciting NHL lineup, but you're getting a decent group here. And I like the fact that these guys are going to get one more game. I think they're deserving of it. All the guys on that list, aside from, I hate to just like single them out like this, but like aside from Philip Johansson, the rest of these guys I think should deserve another preseason game. So I'm happy with the list right there. And sorry to Philip. He's a good dude. Lucas Forsell's best buddy.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to the man of the hour. I'm curious what he's wearing. Maybe some sunglasses. I don't know. I haven't seen him, so news to me. Whatever he's wearing, the man of the hour, Wyatt Arndt. I knew it. I knew it. He's got his Buffalo Bills. Is that a hat or two? You just got a backwards hat on.
It's full hat today, boys.
Yeah. Ooh, Uncle Stanchie joining us.
A little bit here.
Okay, Faber's gonna match the vibe.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. There it is. Yeah. That's some Bret Hart vibe.
I'm frantically looking around for something, and I don't think I have any on me. So I'm gonna be the only one in this interview not wearing. Oh my gosh, Faber, the green screen, man. You just look like you're out of Tron.
Just want to apologize. John Hamm's in the background here. It's been a really busy day, so he's gonna be quiet though. He promised he wouldn't talk much. So again, sorry boys. It's the lifestyle I live. So
yeah, understandable. Stan, how you doing, man? People are very excited that you're jumping on the show here. I don't think you did a hit with us last year. Too busy chatting with celeb. But how's the offseason been, man? How are things?
Offseason's good because I always tell people when I was, coming up watching hockey how much I hated the offseason. I want hockey back right away. But now that I work for a living, I love the offseason. It's just a nice kind of way to kind of calm down and not be burnt out. So, but I'm excited. Even just doing a little bit of the last preseason game was kind of fun having everyone get together, and beginning of the season is kind of full of hope and optimism, and no one's really yelling at each other too much yet before we devolve into the usual anarchy that is Canucks Twitter. So right now it's a little bit nice. Everyone's kind of waiting to see. And last season, the vibe was really, honestly, it was pretty shitty because everyone was like, oh, it just felt bad, with the booter. Everyone didn't know what was going on. We knew it was going to be a bad season. This year, perfect plan aside, it just feels a bit better. Like there should be some more storylines that are good. I know the Pettersson thing's hanging over everyone, but other than that, it feels like it should be kind of a bit of a better vibe than what we saw last season. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wyatt, we have a new layout. I don't know if you saw our old layout because you never came on our show, but what can people expect from the Stanchies this year? Because there's a lot of new listeners on this show, a lot of new people from Canucks Army, and I feel like the number one demographic that doesn't understand the Stanchies is Canucks Army readers and commenters. So what can people expect from the Stanchies this year?
Yeah, it's my Stanchies are very unique in that sense, and I have a lot of weird jokes, but We're gonna go back to the well a bit because Botch obviously started this whole thing, and he, was famous for kind of giving the whole overall scope of what was going on around the team and stuff that happened. So working with Faber, because Faber, again, I always say is one of the best scrum guys I've ever seen. He's gonna get the dirt. He's gonna talk to the players on off days, game days. We're gonna try and get that into the Stanchies. So when you read about it, it's not just about the game itself, but kind of what's going on around the team. And so we're going to try and get a bit more insight from the players. So last season, honestly, it felt like I just wanted to hit the ground running and kind of like get a whole season under my belt with Canucks Army. This season now, we've got Cody, I think, and Lachlan are going to kind of come to their own. They're kind of make it their own. And then we're going to get Faber involved and kind of giving us the players are thinking and kind of get, a bit more insight from them. And, it's a bit tough, obviously, with COVID. Kind of, it's limited how, like in the old days, man, it really was cool. You go to the locker room and you kind of pull a player to the side. You could talk to them. It was a lot easier to kind of get the groundwork for that sort of stuff. It's a bit tougher now with, the restrictions that haven't fully come off yet with renovations at Rogers Arena. So Faber's got his work cut out for him, but if anyone can do it, I think it's Faber, not to put too much pressure on you, but we're going to try and include a bit more of that and kind of get a bit more of the overall scope of things and just, and have some stupid jokes, talk about the games, because when the season goes bad, sometimes all you can do is laugh, right? So we kind of, what I always say is I want the Stanchies to be like you're talking to your buddies about the game and you're having a bit of fun. It's not the most formal article out there, but I don't want to be formal. Obviously, I'm not a formal guy, so.
Absolutely. We see Lisa in the chat here. All the gifts, empty out that wallet of quads here. Absolutely. That's what we do on the show, or we at least try to. Wyatt, I got to ask, because one of my favorite things about Trust the Process was watching you and Bowman pick your boys. Can you give us a boy for this season? Do you have any front runners early? Because I know you wait till the regular season to really lock in on a boy. Who's your boys on the team so far? Who are some options?
I am a sucker for those guys that produce the AHL that are like, the quad AAA guys, and Will Landon, man. I don't know, something about him. I think he's going to be good as a boy. Obviously Shen was my boy for the longest time, to the point that, when he left the team, he texted me, he said, thanks for the coverage. So I obviously wasn't that impartial, but I do think Will Landon's the next guy that I'm going to be, but think about Shen here. I'm going to go here. The thing about Shen was he was paid so little and did so much for that money. It's when your contract's huge, like OEL, he's going to be in Florida and probably have a decent season. Everyone's like, oh, so you told you so. No, it was always the contract. And that's the reality of a salary cap era. Like when you get paid a lot of money, people are going to need you to produce. So that's what the beauty of the boys is. They don't get paid a lot, so they just have to produce, just a little bit, and I'm going to love them. So I think Will Landon's the guy that I'm intrigued by to see what he can do.
Wyatt, it's the subject of our Atlas Goods poll question today. What's the biggest question still facing this team? Your options. I'm going to give you options, and you can always go with other answer if you want. 5-on-5 scoring. Will the by committee defense work? What's the team's identity? And as always, I'm angry.
Yeah, I'm going to go I'm not going to go with I'm angry, but it kind of relates to that a bit. I'm going to go for me, JT Miller, honestly, for me, which JT Miller we're going to get, because when he first joined the team, he won this fan base over. Like he was, forecheck harder than anyone. He backchecked. He was producing. The Lotto line still lives in infamy. Like JT Miller was like everything you could ask for and more. We've seen ups and downs with JT. Even he denied his inability to backcheck a couple of times, but once it hit national TV, finally he said, "Okay, maybe I could have backchecked a bit harder." So we're gonna see. He's yelled at teammates. He's like this. He's Rip Wheeler, right? He's the guy that kind of like Ryan Kessler. Like you love, that's who he is, right? You live and die with that kind of player. That he's either that emotion that you may not like. It also is what powers him to be a good player. So I'm really intrigued, just kind of with Quinn Hughes' leadership, and because the worst thing you want to have is Quinn Hughes is your new captain. And then game 2, JT Miller's throwing a tantrum. That's going to undercut Quinn Hughes. It's going to bring questions that will take the spotlight put on JT. So I think for him, and I think to Talka's credit, he's been on top of that. That can't be what you're doing. But I am intrigued to see if that slips out a bit and see what he does and see what kind of JT Miller we get.
Walk me through McGruff, the crime dog, your boy, Cole McWard as well. I thought he might be a guy that you liked off the top because he's playing with Quinn Hughes. He's not making a lot of money. I got to get some photos of him leaving the game or coming into the game today, because we're going to see if he's in full detective mode today. I'm talking about Cole McWard. Your thoughts on him, I guess, starting the season, and I think we're at that point now where we can start to really have a discussion about it, as Quinn Hughes' partner and the top pairing guy on the right side with the Canucks' defenseman, who a lot of people are hoping is going to be a strong kind of talking point here in the conversation about the Norris, might be starting the season with Cole McWard this year. Your thoughts on McWard and the spot that he's at right now?
I mean, I wanted to make it just for the nickname alone. I want to have the crime dog in the Stanchies, because I know the Chaos Draft might not be here for too long, so I need another really banger of a nickname. I'm surprised as anyone. You're right. He is a perfect boy candidate. This guy coming out of nowhere. Obviously, anytime someone projects the team, there's always like, those 4 guys in the NHL that everyone's like, yeah, they're top 4 D-man. You're like, no, every team has these guys. It just doesn't work out that way. Like, even going back in time to wingers and stuff, I remember like Jesse Schultz for the Canucks, where Dave Noah's like, this guy's going to be a 40-goal scorer with the Sedins, and he lasted 1 game. I'm not suggesting that's going to happen to McWard, but it is surprising that he's got that spot. I think obviously in a perfect world, you want a more established guy with Quinn Hughes, but with this committee defense, I can see maybe that's kind of a plug and play situation. I don't know how long it's going to last. Like, I'm not trying to be too cynical. Obviously, they're just going to see what works, and I'm excited to see how it goes. But yeah, when it comes to picking a boy, I just will land it. I can't get over that AHL production. I just think like for puck movement, like I just don't know how many times we've seen a guy come up into the team as a defenseman and they just can't do anything with the puck. Like, they're getting pressure, they can't get the puck in the zone, and puck movement is so important in today's game. And I'm not trying to trash the crime dog, but I just will land to me. I think just has those skills that like can kind of maybe make him acclimate to the NHL a bit quicker. So that's the guy I want to see the most.
Wyatt, what did you make of the by committee comment from Tocchet when he was explaining it and all that sort of stuff? Like, what did you make of all that?
Tocchett's fun because his coaching style is a lot, not a lot, but very kind of similar to Travis Green. It really is. They share a lot of similarities. They're friends. I'm sure they compare notes. But Tocchett's a very different talker than Green. Green is always very we always make fun of his little like laughing at drafts. It's a good question. It's a hard league to win in. Like he was very guarded, right? You couldn't get much from Travis Green. And Tocchet, I think maybe it was because he's on TV or there's a personality. He's a bit more open. It could be problematic in this market because we kind of pick things apart to no end. So I'm wondering if it'll ever get him in trouble. But I think he owns it in a way that I always tell people when like Roberto Luongo figured out this market, it's about not getting too razzled, right? Just own it. Like whatever, it was whatever. And like as long as you kind of admit and kind of do the Eminem, like make fun of yourself before they do, you'll be fine. So I think Tocchet actually will do okay with this market. Committee by defense, honestly, he's just kind of saying what I think we're all seeing. Like this is a new defense. There's nothing set in stone. There's so many new additions here. Like that actually, it all makes perfect sense to me. Like, yeah, I have no issue with that. I like his approach. Like it's way better than him kind of being like so tight-lipped and guarded as if like national secrets are about to get out. Like clearly the defense is going to be, a work in progress to start the season.
I think the interesting thing about by committee is like, this isn't like an even distribution between the committee as well. Like you're going to see a lot of time with Cole McWard. You're going to see a lot with Hronek, but you're not getting 5 minutes of Tyler Myers and Quinn Hughes. Like I think people see that quote and they think, what, you're just going to rotate Quinn Hughes? Like, no, that's not how it's going to go, man. You're going to see a ton of minutes with McWard. We saw it on Saturday, getting a chance for Hronek and Hughes kind of bounced together after a penalty kill, those type of situations. So we'll have to see how that committee thing goes. But I think it's kind of where the Canucks are at, right? Like that's kind of what the defense core looks like. And they have done a pretty decent job changing it, especially since this new management group came in. But that's just the way I look at it. Wyatt, I'm thinking like they kind of have to go by committee. It's not like you want to roll and really commit to Cole McWard as your top pairing right D to start the season. As good as he looks coming into the arena, that's a hard thing to bet on.
Yeah, I think locking into anything would be a bit ridiculous. And like he was like, no man, Cole McWard's the guy for the entire season. Like that's never going to happen anywhere. I think again, this just speaks to the honesty that Tocchet's giving us. Like, no, it's going to be a fluid process. We're going to see who's going to work. Like. Anytime you bring in a bunch of new guys, you got to figure out what you've got because preseason's great, but once regular season hits, it's a completely different game. So we're gonna see what's happening. Like my main concern with the defense, honestly, always comes down to like puck movement, and that I keep saying today's NHL game, like Quinn Hughes stands out because he's an elite guy that can move the puck. Not everyone has to be Quinn Hughes, but we've seen countless guys come to the Canucks in the recent years that just like they get the puck and they can't make a good outlet pass. They can't get like all it is like off the boards and outs. So you're giving up the puck position all the time. So for me, Carson Soucy could be a good guy, could be another Luke Shen, but you want to see guys that can move the puck because I think end of the day when teams are pressuring you, you've got to be able to get out of your zone, and Canucks struggle with that. And I'm most interested to see kind of how these guys come together in terms of just like transitioning the puck because that's going to be a huge part of any success they have.
I don't know if you've been in the arena since the changes. I guess the one that we've seen is the seats in that special, you got a lot of money section, as well as the new scoreboard that's up there. The scoreboard I've seen in person, it looks excellent. Your thoughts of, I guess the changes that are, I don't know if we're on phase 2 quads. You're the smart guy here. Phase 2 or 3 of 5 or something. The phases are happening and the seats sound like they're changing as well. Your thoughts on the changes that we've seen so far, Wyatt?
Yeah, it feels like the Canucks have kind of fallen behind. They used to be cutting edge. Remember Rodriguez first came here. I was like, yeah, Canucks are like, right there. And it's, they were like last in the league in a lot of categories in terms of upgrades. So it's nice to see it kind of getting the upgrades. For me, obviously a neutral color for the seats just makes sense. Like the maroon colors, like I get it. You're excited about the orchid jersey. That's a shitty color. They look like trash. They look like old porn seats. They're dirty. They're disgusting. Nobody likes those seats. No one has like those seats. So anything that gets rid of stuff from the messy area, that's a good thing for me. And black just looks slick, and it'll look good with the skate jersey. Like if they want to switch jersey colors, black is good, right? Like you can't go wrong. So it's kind of nice to see that, because there is, like, we've heard the stories. There's rats at the arena, like the old scoreboard. Like it's nice to kind of get that upgrade to the arena and make it feel like, because if you're spending, again, to the point you were bringing earlier, like when you're spending a lot of money on a game, like you want to feel like you're getting that next level experience, right? And the Canucks kind of needed to upgrade, so it's good that it's finally going that direction.
All right, final one here. We'll let you go on this one. Yesterday, Frank Saravalli's on the show, and Quads asked for a prediction. Frank said that the Phillies were going to win 4-1. Yesterday, later in the day, the Phillies end up winning 4-1. So we found there's some sort of magical potion here on this show for predictions. Give us something for this season, Wyatt, and then we're going to circle back to this in about, 5-6 months from now and see if this amazing prediction came true in the same way that Frank's did yesterday. Just like out of nowhere, predicting a perfect score in a baseball game. How tough is that? Floor is yours, Wyatt. Give us a solid prediction for the season here that you want to come true.
I did it for Cody's article. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go even harder. Kuzmenko's getting 50 goals. Booking it now. He's going to regress a little bit, just a tad, but he's still hitting 50. I'm calling it. He's going to fly. That guy is coachable. He's been working out. He loves scoring more than anyone in the world. I'm calling it 50 goals right now. Get back to me when it happens.
I love it. I think I forgot, Quads. We have to add the drop of Kuzmenko imitating Podkolzin's baby. I have the audio for that. We do need to get that drop back. Wyatt, appreciate you joining the show here. Stanchies game 1, right? We're talking regular season gets going. We'll have it next, I guess, a week from today.
Yes.
So Quad, get ready. You're staying up late again, man.
I'm good with it.
All right. Well, Wyatt, thank you so much for joining us here. Anything else you want to close out with before we get going? A week away from our first Stanchie, so we're all excited about that.
No, it's obviously biased, but I've been loving working for Canucks Army. I do think we're going to bring the best content you can get around. Like, honestly, you've seen other people kind of backed off the local content, and the industry is a tough one at the best of times. But I think Canucks Army has stepped up in a huge way, and I love the team we have here. So I honestly, I cannot wait to show people what we got from this season.
Absolutely. Taking it up a level, I think, as well. So we're excited for this year. And I'm working on that Google Drive. I got a Google Doc going.
Get the drive. Send me the Google Drive. I mean, come on, brother.
I mean, it doesn't look great. I was gonna say I should get an Excel sheet going or something. I feel more comfortable on there. Anyways, it is out there already. It just looks horrible. So we'll get that your way and start getting some quotes. Excited to work together and make that happen this year. So thanks for joining us here, Wyatt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys. Have a good rest of the show.
There he is, Uncle Stanchie joining the show here. I guess I could take these off now. I don't know. You can't tell. I'm looking at I can look at the screen. You can't see my eyes anymore.
I don't love this. This is very off-putting for me. I don't like this.
Right. I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, it's
you
good.
Look like a DJ.
What? How excited are you to get back to editing Stanchies again? I know it's your favorite thing to edit.
Oh yeah, it's the best. I love staying up late, especially when I have to get up at the same time every morning to walk my dog. That's gonna be really fun. I had a little preview of what it was gonna be like this season when we first got Bert, because I had him for the final month of the season. Those Stanchies hardly got edited. I'll be honest. Those Stanchies hardly got edited. I ran through them with Grammarly. Anything Grammarly picked up, I also picked up. You do the Command F, make sure there's no curse words in there, and then you fire it off. That was my strategy, and it seemed to work last year. But no, I am going to be properly editing them this year. We should also mention sorry, go on.
Sorry, the one thing we got to start telling our guests here. It's a show for a family. You want to listen to this with your family. We got back-to-back days S-bombs on the show from Wyatt and Frank. These guys, I tell you,
high ticket guests.
I know high tickets we got to tell them you can't be saying we got kids in the car. Kids are
S-bombs.
No S-bombs for the kids. We got hockey cards for the kids. No S-bombs.
That'd be really funny if we were like, yeah, we'll bring hockey cards, but we're also bringing the S-bombs with us.
If your kids are fine with us swearing on the show, they can have some hockey cards.
Yeah, your kid just has to repeat the word. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
No, none of that. What were we even talking about? Oh yeah, okay. I want to plug this. As well because he just mentioned the Stanchies. Second game of the year. Cody Sievertson is going to be stepping in. I thought it was going to have to be me. I was really scared there for a second, but it's going to be Cody Sievertson jumping in to do the Stanchies. On that night, Cody is giving up his time, and he is going to miss the event at Greta. Bring it up, Aaron. We've got our event at Greta Bar YVR. Going to be a ton of fun. We're going to you're emceeing it. It's going to be so much fun. $10 tickets. We're outselling Oilers Nation.
Oh.
Everybody's saying it. The
Hold on.
Canucks Army crew is coming out hot, and it is going to be very, very fun that night on the 14th, which is a Saturday. Canucks in Edmonton. I will also be in Edmonton. $2 hot dogs, $2 hot dogs, $6 Budweisers, and $12 Army nachos.
Okay, $2 hot dogs are amazing. That's probably the deal of the night. But I'm looking at Greta. I'm creeping on their Instagram page. You know what they got in there? Because they got the arcade games, right? That's the thing. It's an arcade bar and street food. The good street food out there. $2 hot dogs. But I'm looking at the arcade stuff. They got an arcade machine that's just a Bop It. It's got the 4 things. So you remember this? You might be too old.
Oh, yeah.
Young for this. Now, too young for you. You guys probably had Bop Its on your computers when you were growing up. But we used to have it back in the day, the old Bop It. And they got an arcade machine version of Bop It. So I'm excited. I'm just, you know what? I'll be emceeing most of the night, but I believe the tickets come with arcade vouchers as well. I believe. I could be wrong on that. I think it does. I think it comes with like a $20. So you pay $10, you get $20 in arcade stuff. And I've been getting a lot of DMs from folks who are coming as well. So I appreciate that. We're excited to see you next Saturday at the Canucks Army kickoff party. Let's give it our best shot this season, folks. So excited for that.
We're hoping to have at least 2 or 3 of those this year. So I'm hoping to come to one later because I feel I'm a little upset that I have to miss out on this one, but it's okay. Duty calls.
Yeah, no, and Aaron says he still has a Bop It at his house right now. That's good. Hey, what kind of batteries that take there, Aaron? Just old AA's or what? Because it's got to take batteries.
That one does take AA batteries. The one that I still use in my house.
Is it like the classic one? Like classic, it was like a straight one because they made a Bop It Extreme. That's what Quad's is using, the round one. That wasn't it. The old Bop Its was like a straight one. That was the one.
I used to, I had both. I had the old straight one. The one I currently still have is the Quads generation.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of have a little curve on it, but Quads, I'm older than you, and I always forget that.
Aaron's a Bop It enthusiast is what we're finding out here.
Mm-hmm. Damn right.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. They got the whole arcade machine. Like I'm good at those. Those are my, like, I'm not the smartest guy. I think people are probably aware of that by now. But things that I'm really good at, super simple math. Not even super simple, just like simple math. Before you start putting letters in there, really good at doing all that fast. You know this, Quads. You gotta pull out the calculator for your golf scores. That's a joke to me. And then remembering things in sequences, really good at that too. The Bop It I used to be on that, and back in the day they had this game. You were probably too young for this one again. Flappy Bird. You remember that?
Of course, I remember Flappy. How young do you think I am? That was like 2015, man.
Mark Messier was a Canuck before you were born, so I think you're pretty young, Quads. But the Flappy Bird game, that I used to. This is when I was managing the A&W. I'd sit there and I'd be flapping and flapping, and people would come up. Can I get this? Give me a second here. I'm at the front working, but my score on Flappy Bird was ridiculous back on the old iPhone 4.
Yeah, and then that game got taken off the App Store. The poor creator that was a tough time for him. Anyways, let's move on.
I don't know any of that.
Oh, no more Flappy Bird talk. We'll talk about it later. Let's get to our poll question. Our poll question, as always, is brought to you by the great folks over at Atlas Goods. Go to atlasgds.com. Use promo code CC15. That will get you 15% off your first order of pop rinds. These are the best fresh pork rinds straight from your microwave or air fryer. I gotta tweet it. I gotta tweet the picture. But there was a Canucks Army commenter yesterday that commented on the article I wrote about the show getting a new look and everything. He commented, he goes, "Love the show. Finally gave in and ordered those pork rinds you and Faber are always talking about. Me and the kids love them." And he said him and his kids are eating the pork rinds and they absolutely love them. It's a high protein snack. Think about it. If you got kids and you're trying to give them a snack, no sugar. You don't want to overload them on sugar.
Snack because they look at it and they're like, "Oh, look at these pellets going into the air fryer." They come out, it's like meat popcorn. Like what else?
Get your kids. If you're listening to this, get your parents to order you some pop rinds with promo code CC15.
Yeah. So what's the same day delivery too? You're talking about last week on the show, right?
Yeah. If you order before 3 p.m., same day delivery. Locally owned and operated out of Surrey, British Columbia.
All right.
Full question. Yep.
Full question. Let's go.
I previewed it a little bit.
Aaron's mad at me again. He doesn't want to come back on the show here. So
we don't know.
Aaron's a ticking time bomb over here. So keep an eye on.
Let's bring Aaron back. Let's bring Barrett.
No. He's not. He's not back in. No.
For For those wondering what's going on, Aaron just shot us a little message in our private little chat here. He said, "Hey guys, don't bring me back on. Someone from the office is in there and is on radio, needs to be quiet." So that's why we said, yeah, let's bring Aaron back on. Okay, our poll question. Thank you for getting this up, Aaron. What's the biggest question you still have facing the Vancouver Canucks? This is the question I asked Wyatt. Wyatt's answer was a little interesting. He went JT Miller. I got to be honest. I think we know what JT Miller we're getting. Like, I don't think JT Miller regressed at any point under Tocchet. I think he played a lot better under Tocchet. I don't know. Like, is there a point this season where they need to get JT Miller back on the rails? I don't really think so. I think Tocchet's kind of his baseline expectations get rid of the no back checking, the bad body language, that kind of stuff. Like, Tocchet doesn't put up with that. So I don't think we're going to see that from JT Miller this year. So I don't know. I'm not too worried about JT Miller. The options on the poll: 5-on-5 scoring. Will the by committee defense work? What's the team's identity? And as always, I'm angry. I'm with the majority here, Chris. I went with will the by committee defense work? 62% of voters saying that, 23% say 5-on-5 scoring, 9% say what's the team identity, and 6% say they're downright angry. I went with will the by committee D work? Like, we talked about how it might work yesterday on the show. We don't know that for sure. Like I threw it out yesterday that, yeah, I don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody's making it out to be. Like, I think Filip Hronek is going to be the second highest point getter. And I think he's going to spend a lot of time alongside Quinn Hughes, even if he's not lining up there to start games. I still think we're going to see Hronek and Hughes kind of be the most consistent partners together. That's what I think. But I'm curious to see how it's all going to work, because look, there's no debating that this is still a thin blue line, right? Like, they still aren't a, crazy good blue line. They still have a lot to prove. I'm curious how it's going to work.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Hughes and Hronek getting the majority. Is that what you're saying there? I don't think that's going to be the thing. I don't think they're going to get I actually don't think they're going to get that much time together.
I think Hronek by the end of the year will be Hughes's most consistent D partner, not including Ethan Bear, I guess, because if Ethan Bear comes in December,
put a dinner and 2 Cokes on that. I guarantee. I bet he's not. I bet he's not. This could be interesting.
Well, who is Hughes' most consistent partner in terms of ice time? Is it Cole McWard, Chris?
I don't think it's going to be Filip Hronek consistently, like as the lineup is set, and I just don't think he's going to be all year long. It's going to be the main partner. I think that, yes, you're going to get him late in games. Yes, you're going to get him when you're trailing. Yes, you're going to get him after penalty kills, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of games where he starts as his partner. I think that's
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're going to have McWard, Myers, and Hronek shift with Hughes, and I think Hronek is going to shift a lot more than those other two guys. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think they'll find a guy that makes, like, you brought up Ian Cole yesterday, and I think a lot of people in this market, maybe not enough people are talking about it. I found it interesting yesterday, the stuff that Frank said about Ian Cole in the locker room, right? Like, he does have 9 playoffs, 9 seasons in a row. Ian Cole's made the playoffs, and he's won a few Stanley Cups, I think, for sure. So I think Ian Cole's going to get his look, and I feel like that might be the guy that they find that ends up making a lot of sense. Or Carson Soucy, right? It might end up being him. I guess we'll have to see what happens here, but I don't think by the end of the season the most ice time for Quinn Hughes' partner is going to be Filip Hronek. I would bet on that against you. A dinner and 2 Cokes, I'd take that bet easy.
You're just trying to cancel out the bet that it looks very clear that you're now going to lose. Quinn Hughes is absolutely scoring 20 this year. 3 goals in 2 preseason games. Mr. Chris Faber sweats every time Quinn Hughes gets the puck in the O zone.
I mean, what does it say about this Vancouver Canucks team that you and I are making bets that we both feel on the opposite sides of about Quinn Hughes, right? Like, that's where the big questions are with this team. It's the partner for Quinn Hughes. You're talking about the goals and stuff, I know, but I just think that that's a spot, man. Like, to circle back, I guess, on Cal Foote, I feel a little bit like that guy's an option to try. He's 24 years old. He's 6'4". Like, I know that he's the son of one of the coaches, but I still think that they're going to be able to find a guy here late into the waiver season, I guess you could call it, as the regular season approaches. I think they can find a guy that they'd be half decently comfortable with playing alongside Quinn Hughes and being a little bit more confident than they do with Cole McWard, who doesn't have double-digit games in the NHL. Like, I don't know. It's just the way I look at it, because I think that rookies learn so much in that first year of playing in the NHL. I mean, it's great for Cole McWard to learn on the side of Quinn Hughes, but it's also going to be very difficult when you start getting top 6 matchups for every single game as a guy breaking into the NHL. Cole McWard's got his word cut out for him if that's his spot.
Just the way we're talking about it, like that's Cole McWard's spot. We
Yeah,
spent
right.
all off season. Who's the partner for Quinn Hughes? Nobody said Cole McWard. Nobody. So, anyways, I still don't think they're going to claim Foot. Were you at all surprised they didn't get that guy from Ottawa? That nobody put in a claim for that guy, Jacob Bernard Docker?
No, I mean, he's a really good NCAA player. I've seen him in the AHL a few times. He didn't really like pop. Reminded me of watching.
Well, he
Philip
had 2
Broberg.
assists, right? In like,
Yeah. But like,
yeah.
you know, I remember watching Philip Broberg out there in Abbotsford thinking, gee, I had no idea who's in the lineup until the end of the game. And that's similar stuff with Bernard Docker, a guy that was probably pretty excited about when he was in the NCAA, but just when they get to the pro level, they just have to, you know, it happens so often, right? Like you're a great player in junior, you're a great player in the NCAA, like Adam Gaudette, right? Really good player in the NCAA. They got to change their game. They just have to. They aren't at that level. You know, if you're putting up points like, you know, when Adam Gaudette like won the Hobie Baker, if he would have done that in like his freshman season, you're like, okay, you can probably do that at the NHL. It's the same way of like Adam Fantilli last year in the NCAA. You're like, oh, he could probably do what he's doing right now in the NHL. But you go through a 3-4 year career and you're not like a Hobie Baker winner in your first couple of years, like your game's got to change a little bit when you go to pro hockey. It's the same with the guys coming out of junior. Arshdeep Bains is a good example of how to do that change. So for Bernard Docker, probably just needs a little bit of a reset in the AHL and kind of probably a similar situation to Vasily Podkolzin. I guess a little bit of a lower quality prospect and been around the league a little bit longer for JBD, but like I think it'll be interesting. I wasn't surprised that they didn't pick him up. I think that I would personally rather take a go at Cal Foot than I would with Bernard Docker personally, even though you're telling me you can't play for your kid or anything.
We'll find out. We'll find out 11 o'clock tomorrow. We'll find out if he's claimed. We'll find out. Okay, Betway, get us out of here. Also, I'm wearing my Jays hat. Few people asked about it. I know Yerky was in the chat giving me crap about wearing a Jays hat. Look, Mariners are out. This is Canada's team right now. Who wants to see them? I like to see the Minnesota Twins win a game. It was cool that they won a playoff game, but I don't know. I don't have any like affiliation with the Minnesota Twins. There's nothing about the Twins that's making me, I really hope the Twins, who stumbled to the division win in the worst division in pro sports. I don't know. I'm not going to get onto baseball, but I'm rooting for the Jays, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. My video is going to be a little bit behind here. I think try to open up a new page. Blue Jays. All right. Let's get to our Betway bet of the day. Get it up here. I'm frozen. Our Betway bet of the day. We're going to the Selke quads. We're going with Elias Pettersson to win the Selke. Hey, plus 1,400. I'm not taking this because he's the front runner. I'm taking this because of the odds you're getting. The outright winner of the Selke Trophy for Elias Pettersson, $10 bet's going to return you $150. You're at plus 1,400 on Elias Pettersson. I just think the odds are strong here. You've got very good odds here for Elias Pettersson, I think, to win the Selke. I mean, you're talking, you know, like I said, a $1 bet would return you 15. A $10 bet's going to get you 150. I like those odds.
Well, I'm not because I'm voting, but you might have a vote this year. You can't vote on it.
Oh, I'm PHWA. Can't vote on hockey or
bet. You can vote on hockey. You can't bet on hockey.
Well, I can't vote either. I haven't gotten the option to. I got to talk to Frank about that.
You will soon. I'm sure. You will soon.
The other thing.
Okay, so
no, was there any other? I have the other list here. Part 2 of the bet. Look at that. And Aaron split it up into 2. He knew I screwed up again and gave him a big long. Good work, Aaron. Good stuff over there. Here are the rest of the odds for the top. What's 11, 12. How many people? I can't count. Quads my eyes. I'm getting old. 12.
Find it.
12. Top 12 people here. Players for the Selke. Oh, I'm losing it. I'm losing it again in the Betway segment. The Betway. I just think Elias Pettersson at plus 1,400. You know, you got Alex Barkov at plus 1,000, Mitch Marner at 1,000, Elias Lindholm at plus 1,400, same as Elias Pettersson. Man, Austin Matthews, you know he's going to get some votes. He's got plus 1,800. Phil Deneau at plus 1,800. Ryan Reeves plus 2,000. I'm sorry, the guy who sticks out to me the most for the value here is Elias Pettersson at plus 1,400. That's why I picked it there.
Sure, in terms of value, I absolutely agree with you. But if you're actually, I don't know, like Nico Hischier, I think that's my pick. He was second on my ballot last year. On my ballot last year. Patrice Bergeron was the only guy I had ahead of him. If I had to redo my ballot and you told me I couldn't put Patrice Bergeron on it, Nico Heischer's first, and I'm not really hesitating. And then for after Nico Hischier, I was trying to figure out, okay, 3 to 5, who do I have? Who do I want to put on this? But I knew Nico Hischier was for sure my number 2, and now Patrice Bergeron's gone. Hischier is probably my number 1 if he repeats what he did last year.
Yeah, and that's why.
And of course, I will not be betting on this.
No, I don't think. I literally just think you just gave us insider information or something. But no, you didn't say you were going. You didn't say who you're voting for.
It depends on the season. That's what I'm saying. Is last season.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I think the Selke is going to be so different this year. Was people going into the season, they're voting for Bergeron probably by the end of the year, right? But now with him out of the league, hey, it's a wide open race. That's why I like Pettersson coming up and taking a step this year. He's already on the radar, right? Like he got votes last year. I think the Selke is so important to be on the radar. It's the same with the Norris. So, plus 1,400, $10 bet's going to return you 150, and then you can take you take that 150 and you can invest it into the Fortune 500 or the Nasdaq or Dogecoin.
What are you talking about?
And then you can buy yourself a house 12 years down the road. You got to eat the rich. All right, I'm done here.
What? Okay. Yeah, I think you're just saying things you see on Twitter.
You got to publish it.
I've got a Burt Cam. People are asking for it. Everybody's asking. If you choose to play at Betway, 19 plus, you must be. I don't know why I said that like Master Yoda, but 19 plus to play. If you choose to play, please play responsibly. Burt is actually in the room right beside me.
I was gonna say, I could, live shot, yeah.
I could go get him, but like he should still sleep, and I got work to do after this. And he's fast asleep. You don't wake a sleeping dog. Everybody knows that. So we'll close it out there. For my co-host Chris Faber and our technical producer Aaron Bordado, our thanks again to Wyatt Arndt, the Stanchion, for joining us on this episode. My name's Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
See you, Abby. Let's go. Canucks Conversation with Quads and Faber. New episodes every weekday, 1:30 across the board, except for Wednesdays, 1 o'clock. We'll see you there live on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. For more information, visit CanucksArmy.com.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?